Damn. This is what guys do when they're...
Perfect shot. Complete penetration.
Wow. Dude.
Look at it, came out the other end. Look at the hole.
That's 20 inches of ballistic gel.
Dude, this makes me want to shoot a rage. It really does. When you see that it can do that and pop out of this plastic on the other end.
20 inches of ballistic gel.
Well, that's the benefit of shooting 82 pounds.
Yeah, that's just it. Exactly. We should almost shoot mine at 65 with a lighter arrow.
I mean, that's crazy.
You just shot a concrete wall though with that rage.
Well,
holy crap! Look at it.
It's okay. It's flattened. The tip's flattened, but it's okay. Here's what's interesting. You have a 31-inch draw.
Yep.
I have a 28.25-inch draw. Big difference in the amount of distance, and that should, you would think, theoretically make up for it. But it seems like the extra weight of the arrow and then the 80 pounds of the bow really makes a big difference as far as momentum, right?
It's momentum. Yeah, momentum will carry more so than the kinetic energy out of the bow.
That's a real wake-up call.
Yep. So you've got a full hole all the way through. This is the width of a whitetail. This is the width of a whitetail.
It hit right here.
Full channel. It's kind of hard to see. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really hard to see. But here's, if you look at it, this is the entry, and it's a big entry wound. And yet these are the plus Ps, which doesn't have as wide of a cutting surface, but has a better angle for penetration. Man,
it's crazy. Crazy awesome. Fun stuff in the guy garage here.
Let's see it now with yours and see what the difference is.
So there you go.
That's the proof right there, ladies and gentlemen. That's a big difference. That's a really big difference.
That's the difference of weight and heavy arrow versus light arrow. Light arrow.
How many grains is your arrow?
About 420 grains with a 67-pound bow. So this is what a lot of people teach most people to shoot, about a 400 to a 420 grain arrow. A lot of people like those. So
the difference between that and a 500 grain arrow, mine's vary between 494 and 496 and 82 pounds. I think you said it was 82.
Yep. What I need to do now, and it's too bad Joe's arrows are too short, but if I would have brought my 500 grain arrow and shot the exact same thing, we would see that even though the bow is slower, the extra weight of the arrow would certainly carry that through. But this is more than efficient on most game animals. However, if you're going for big game animals, this should just show you that a heavier arrow with a little bit smaller diameter and a little bit more weight, if you can manage it, is going to certainly help.
Well, it's interesting because today everybody's concentrating on speed. They're concentrating on getting above that 300 mark, 320. Like you look at bows being advertised, 340 IBO. That's really not what you want, right?
Right. No, I would say I like to take a bow that can shoot 330. Like if you had a 500 grain arrow, if Joe was shooting at 500 or 5 grains per pound with his bow, you could be shooting 340 probably, something like that.
So if I had like a, what would it be? Like mine's 494-ish, 496. Yeah. So what would you have, like a 330 grain arrow maybe?
Well, it'd be 400 grains, right? 80
You drop it down to that?
Yeah. So he would have a lot more speed, but the kinetic energy and the momentum would certainly be a lot different. So 500 grain arrow, this is pretty convincing for me too, because since my shoulder injury and I'm recovering, I'm going to work my way back up in poundage, and I'm certainly going to go back to my 500 grain arrows and try to boost my penetration.
Well, especially with you, with 31 inches of draw,
Yep.
you're going to get so. How many more pounds of feet do you think, or how many more?
About
kinetic energy?
8 foot per second per inch.
8 foot per second per inch. So wow, that's a big difference.
Yeah,
you know,
it'd
you're
be the
3
equivalent
plus
to
inches.
Yep.
3¼ inches longer.
For sure.
With all that heavy, with a 500 grain arrow, I mean, mine blew straight through it and blasted that wall.
Blasted a wall.
That's a big difference, right?
Oh, this is awesome.
Really cool. You know, it's fascinating.
Thanks to my forensic friends who got me this gel. You know who you are. I can't mention your secret identity, but you know who you are. Thanks. It's fun.
It's all fascinating stuff, you know, understanding, and I'm learning from you, like, how much, what's important, kinetic energy, weight, momentum. Like, there's a lot of confusing information out there.
Yep.
And if you're someone who's on the outside and you're looking in like me, like I don't know that much about archery, and I see people talking about speeds, you automatically think, well, faster's better, always.
Yep.
But that's not necessarily the case.
I like a heavy arrow that is accurate, for sure. I like to always, I take my bows regardless of how fast they shoot, and I put an arrow through them at their weight so that I can shoot around 285 feet a second, which this particular arrow I'm shooting right at about 285, which is why I'm there. But as I build up in my poundage closer to hunting season, I'll also increase my arrow weight with that poundage so that I'm still staying right in that. That's a great speed because you can control a lot of different broadheads too.
So when the bow gets faster, when you deal with 300 pluses, then it becomes more important to use mechanical, you think?
Yeah, certainly. So if you're over, the faster you go, especially once you go over 280, the more importance you're going to have on choosing a broadhead design that's more compact and that's going to have better aerodynamics. So your setup, Joe's setup, which he's shooting a Hoyt Carbon Defiant 31 at 80 pounds with a 500 grain Easton axis. He's got a nocturnal knock.
It's an FMJ.
Oh yeah, well it is an FMJ, and nocturnal knock. You've got a 3-inch AAE Max Pro knock-on vane and a nocturnal knock, and those were with Rage Hypodermics and dynamite, man.
Crazy stuff.
Crazy stuff.
Crazy amount of penetration. That blew me away.
I'm inferior to Joe Rogan, quite obviously.
But in his defense, he built my bow. So.
It's cool stuff. All right, we're gonna keep playing around.